Hey, this is Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Today I'm going to show you how to clean, lube, and adjust your chain on your TRX450R. The chains on these ATVs need to be serviced often. Now, these chains, they're carrying a lot of stress because all the power from the engine is being transferred through it to the rear wheels. And to get the most life out of this chain, you need to stay up on the cleaning, lubing, and adjusting it. So what happens if this chain is neglected? Not only will it not last as long, but if the chain is too loose, it can jump off that sprocket. And on the other hand, if you adjust it too tight, the chain can actually break when the suspension is compressed. So we don't want either of these things happening. We want to get ours serviced. This procedure is going to be the same for pretty much all TRX450Rs. This one right here, this is a TRX450ER, so let's go ahead and get it done. To do this job, we need some common hand tools. Specifically, we have the grunge brush, since we have an O-ring chain, a torque wrench, rubber gloves, safety glasses, rags, and then as far as chemicals go, we have a lot of different options available on our website, but for today, we're going to use the Maxima chain cleaner as well as the Maxima chain wax. And you'll also want a suitable jack that can raise the ATV. The first thing we're going to do is raise the rear of the machine off the ground. Now that we have our ATV lifted up, the first thing we're going to want to do is inspect our chain and sprockets to make sure that we can still use them. So the first and easiest test I like to do is pull on the chain midway up the sprocket, and if you pull on this and look at it from the side and there's a gap in between the chain and the sprocket that you can see through, then you know that the chain and sprockets are worn out and they need to be replaced as a set. Now, if you're not quite sure from that test, if you look at the chain and if you see any missing O-rings, or look at the sprocket and the teeth are really sharp and pointy, one side's worn more than the other, or if any teeth are broken off the sprocket, then you know you need to replace the chain and sprockets as a set. While you're inspecting all this, it's a good idea to check this chain slider and make sure it's not worn down too far and it's still in good condition. Now that we've inspected our components and we know they're good, we need to clean them off before we put any lube onto the chain. So to do that, I like to use the grunge brush. This thing is safe for O-rings because it has the soft bristle brushes. Not only that, but it cleans 3 sides of the chain at once, and then we can flip it on its side and clean underneath. And then once we have that clean, we'll go ahead and put some fresh lube on there. All right, now before I put some lube on this, if you happen to have an excessive amount of gunk or old chain lube that the grunge brush doesn't take off, that's where this chain cleaner comes into play. And what you do, I usually just spray it on this inner run of the chain, and then you let it soak in for a minute, I'll wipe it off, and then once this chain is dry, then you can lube it. Now that the chain is clean, we're going to lube it up, and to prevent or catch any overspray, I just put a rag underneath it, and I'm just going to lube this inner run of the chain, and we'll spray it until the entire chain is coated. After that, I'm going to wipe up any excess chain lube. The next thing we need to do is check our chain slack. The spec on this machine is 25 to 35 millimeters, and we're going to do that halfway between the front and rear sprockets. So on this one, it's almost double the spec. We have about 50 millimeters of play, so we need to get that adjusted up. If yours falls within spec, then you're good to go. To adjust the chain, we need to loosen these 4 pinch bolts on the end of our swing arm. To tighten and loosen the chain, we need to rotate this axle bearing carrier, and there's a hole in it right here. You can use either a punch or an Allen key, whatever you've got, to rotate it, and that's going to make your adjustment. So pulling the punch back, that's going to tighten our chain up. If we push it forward, that's going to loosen it up. So you'll move it where you want, check the play, and once you have the play where you want it, then we can tighten these pinch bolts down, and we're going to torque those to 15 foot-pounds. The next step is to lower the machine and go ride. And that's all there is to cleaning, lubing, and adjusting your chain on your TRX450R. It's really easy to do, and if you need any parts for your machine, we have a lot of different options on our website, including chain and sprockets, chain lubes, and that grunge brush that we used. So be sure to check that out. We offer free shipping on orders over $75, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel because we have a lot of other helpful content on there. Thanks for watching.